have a question, Stuart.
Yes.
Um, when the heart closes, over heartbreak, I mean, in a general sense, and then obviously um, we're working to open again. This is maybe a stupid question, but why? Why is it so difficult to open again?
Lisa, we condition ourselves to live in a state that lacks real openness. And periodically, things happen to us, external things. Well, we fall in love, we win the lotto, we get a good job, and they open our hearts. But, unless there's training inside, unless there's the discipline and focus of being centered inside, no matter what takes place in our life, eventually becomes kind of boring. You know, we, we kind of take it for granted, and that closes the heart and brings us back into a situation where we're almost so used to living in that with the heart not being open, that it's very difficult to open it again. I mean, external stimulus will do this. Something good happens. But what I'm talking about is the ability to build an inner life that can keep your heart open no matter what is going on in your day-to-day life. Because there's always going to be good things and bad things and positive things and negative things. It's just the way life manifests. So what we're trying to do is to develop the strength inside ourselves. We can keep the heart open while we're taking out the garbage. We can keep the heart open while we're washing the dishes. We can keep the heart open when a relationship breaks up. You understand, when somebody, God forbid, somebody dies, something happens that's traumatic and difficult. We have the inner capacity to maintain openness and to learn whatever lesson we have to learn from what's taking place. Good, bad, positive, ugly, indifferent, whatever it is, it has something important to teach us about our lives. So the whole purpose of the meditation is to build that kind of an inner life. I mean, people are born and people die. We rejoice when, somebody we love comes into the world, and we get really upset when people leave the world. But this is organic. And we need to learn to be open and keep our hearts open, no matter what is going on. And that is really probably the greatest difficulty of, what one needs to build in meditation. And that really comes back to what I talk about all the time. It's the chakra system. I mean, I've sat with people who were dying, and through meditation, they rejoiced in passing. I remember there was this woman who, when I first moved back to New York, I've told this story before, but it's really a great story. Her name was Eleanor Olson. She used to be the curator of, Indian Himalayan art at the Newark Museum. And she came to me one day. She used to study with Rudy. When I moved back to New York, she started studying with me. She came to me one day and told me that she has, cancer that's, they can't do anything about. So I started doing healing work with her. She would come into my gallery about twice a week, and I would do healing sessions with her. And the cancer went into complete remission. And it was amazing. And at any rate, this went on for about a year. And then one day she came to my gallery and said, "Stuart, I don't have the strength to do this anymore." She was about 80 years old at the time. I just don't have the strength to do this. And she basically told me she wants to die. So I started doing another kind of work with her, working, preparing her for the bardo, for the, life between lifetimes and all of that. And I'll never forget the day before she died, I was sitting in her bedroom doing a really deep meditation with her. And this woman hadn't spoken to anybody in days. She was lying in bed in a fetal position, curled up, you know? And I was doing this meditation with her. She uncurled herself. She sat up on the bed and looked me in the eyes and said, "Thank you. God bless her." I will never forget that as long as I live. You know, it's learning to keep your heart open no matter the situation. Learning that birth and death are great teachers. That what dies is this body that we live with, which is full of pain and illness and et cetera, suffering. What lives is the soul force of the human being. And Eleanor, in that, she learned that and just said, "I am grateful for having been learned this, for you having taken the time, to do this work with me." I can't tell you how many experiences like this I've had with people. And what I'm trying to get to here is building an inner life that is strong enough to keep the heart open no matter what is going on within ourselves, in the world, in politics and economics and all the stuff of life. We can keep our hearts open and we become grateful that whatever is going on within us and outside us is our teacher. And it's teaching us how to get closer to our spiritual enlightenment. Now, the reason why it's so hard, Isha, is it takes training to learn how to do this. And that's why I have all these classes, for God's sake. I've been doing this forever because I understand the amount of time, the amount of training, the amount of development it takes in a human being to do what I'm talking about. And I don't have a need, you don't have time to do something. You understand? There's no time. And it's not fanatical, for God's sake. I mean, like Zen, you do Zen, Zazen, you got to sit for 12 hours a day, in a state of meditation. If you move a finger, they hit you over the head with a stick. It's very, it's very human what we do here. But also the intensity of it and the strength of it has a singular purpose to help any single person that does it to build an inner life, a strong life, so they can keep their hearts open no matter what is going on. No matter what is going on inside them, outside them, at any time. So that not that it's hard, it's just that people don't have the training. You understand? A lawyer needs training. A surgeon, for God's sake, 12 years they have to have training to do their job. Everybody understands that. When it comes to themselves, they don't understand that. And that's also part and parcel of the modern world we live in, where everything has to be instant. I mean, you go on the internet and it takes seconds, but they're making it faster all the time. You know, everything has to be instantaneous today. Not realizing that the most worthwhile things, I mean, if you want to be an artist, you have to learn how to be an artist. If you want to be a